Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we have some very spicy news for the upcoming MFF update. You do not want to miss it, so keep it locked on this video. Now, before we get into all of the juicy details, I will be live at 2 a.m. Eastern, actually a little bit before then, because that's when the maintenance is over, to stream the update live. So if you want the first look at all the new stuff, wink, wink, you got to be on twitch.tv/Cynicalex. If you want to be notified whenever I go live, join our Discord server. More than 13,000 members are there, and it is absolutely popping for so much more than just MFF. But now, let's get to the good part. So we've got brand new uniforms for Adam Warlock, Requiem, and Drax, which I will get to in a moment, but I do want to scroll on ahead here. We're getting a tier 3 for Adam Warlock as well. We're also getting an Awakening for Drax and Gamora. We're going to scroll a little bit more. Danger Room appears to be going away for the time being. It doesn't clearly state that it's being removed, but it sort of hints that. But it may be coming back later after getting some sort of facelift, some sort of change or update. But really, what everyone cannot stop talking about, out of left field, a brand new World Boss Legend. I could not hold my hype to talk about this 10 minutes into the video, so I have to talk about it right now. And it is none other than Infinity ULTRON. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. From Marvel's What If, the last couple of episodes, we are getting the gemmed out ULTRON, who takes over the multiverse, beats up the Watcher, and is finally taken down by a group of unlikely heroes from different dimensions. Now, I cannot state how hype I am for this, but I have so many questions, so I'll just leave you with the little bits of information that we do have thus far. So they are changing the World Boss UI. This will not only look different for this ULTRON boss, but for every other boss here. And what I really like about this new UI change, not only is it a lot cleaner, but it hints at the possibility for more bosses in the future, because something that we sort of had speculated as a group was that the way that it balanced out, we have 6 on one side, 6 on the other side, there really isn't a lot of room for more. It sort of gets crowded. So they've solved that issue here, and in my opinion, they leave room to continue adding World Boss Legends well into the future, which is absolutely what I think they should do. We should be getting 3 World Boss Legends per year. I absolutely love this type of content. Now, what else is going on? Well, you'll be able to get some new rewards, including an icon. So you get a free icon when you beat this, which is awesome. You also get the chance of getting the Mighty CTP of Destruction. So we see more Mighty CTPs being added into drop rate rotations. And then CCF will also be guaranteed as a drop from this World Boss Legend. However, they do point out that this World Boss Legend is supposed to be harder than existing World Boss Legends. So if you're already having trouble with Null and Mephisto, better sharpen up those skills, because ULTRON is coming with even more difficult patterns to memorize and master, which is really, really cool. On top of that, you'll also be able to get 4 to 6 star ULTRON artifacts that will drop upon clearing certain difficulties for the first time. So I really like these sort of conqueror level rewards, where as you work towards, you know, a certain stage, whether it's 20, 30, 40, 50, you're going to be rewarded with an extra special reward in addition to all of the other daily materials that you're farming. And it's so thematic in that it's the ULTRON artifact. However, here's where I start to have tons of questions. Because we know that there's an ULTRON artifact, and because we know that this says Infinity ULTRON, but it doesn't drop BIOS for ULTRON, who is a very easy character to obtain BIOS for, the question remains, is this a new character who's going to share the same artifact as regular ULTRON, or is this a uniform that's going to be released in the future for ULTRON to transform him into Infinity ULTRON? I really don't have an issue either way. I sort of personally leaning towards this being a brand new character, because it means that he will be native tier 3, which means that he will have native tier 3 base stats and native tier 3 abilities. He'll look, you know, he'll have the same amount of polish and sort of unique prestige as Sentry, Null, and Mephisto. If it's a uniform for ULTRON, I would probably expect the power level to be dumbed down just a little bit, because it is just a skin on top of an existing character who is exceedingly easy to get. However, again, either way, it doesn't really matter to me. The only thing I'm sort of adamant about, not sort of, the only thing I'm 100% adamant about that's non-negotiable is that I want to be able to play as this character in the future. Remember, we were not able to play as Null initially. Null World Boss Legend released in like November of 2019, and then it was only in January or late January, early February of 2020 or 2021, sorry. So yeah, so October or November 2020, we got the Null World Boss Legend, and it was only a couple of months later that we were actually able to play as him. So hopefully the devs are hard at work finishing, mastering the actual controls for this character, because, oh man, being able to take Infinity Ultron and battle other bosses and other content would just be so cool. And the thing is, when a character gets a tier 3 or a Transcendence, they have 6 skills. So 6 skills, 1 for each stone. Could you imagine? Or the first 5 skills are the first 5 stones, and then the 6th skill is all 6 stones. There's just so many cool things that can happen. We could see the giant lance that he has. Oh man, it's just really, really cool. Okay, so I've gushed enough over this new World Boss Legend. I've explained the basics of the mechanics as I understand them and sort of the drop rates and all that good stuff. Now let's rewind things and talk about the patch notes from the beginning. So we got the really hype stuff out of the way. By the way, I will be on Twitch when the update is live, and I will be unlocking World Boss Legend Ultron, Infinity Ultron right away. So if you want to first look at that, definitely hit up my stream. So here we go. Adam Warlock is getting an absolutely outrageous rework. It's a 2,500 crystal uniform being discounted by 40%. The reason why it's so expensive is because he's a native tier 2 character. So like Thanos, like Dormammu, etc., he's getting a more expensive uniform. But the uniform does deliver. He has insane buffs for both PvE and PvP. Chain hit pierce. Yeah, like Null and Thena. And then guard break immunity on his uniform. Then he has a base 70% chance to penetrate all the time. It's just always on. And 25% damage reduction. Then he gets a skill that we've never seen before. This is a skill that has both iframe ignore when you activate the skill automatically, and then it also has a counter-attacking portion that may or may not trigger depending on whether the enemy is attacking you. So this could be a very powerful skill called Sacred Strike. And it's got crazy effects: 20% heal, 5 seconds of debuff removal. It's got, paralysis, incapacitation, really crazy stuff. And it's a very short cooldown skill, so every 7 seconds he can pop off with this. Then we have Quantum Explosion, which will allow you to continuously attack nearby enemies, which means that it's a continuous skill, which I love. And it's got a 1.1% accumulation with 6 seconds of invincibility. If that wasn't enough, he's got another 6 seconds of immunity on Mystic Staff with all defense down. And then on Universe Warper, he gets a crazy frenzy buff with 70% all defense and a 20 guard hit for 6 seconds. Just like Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. Absolutely busted. So this dude is looking insane for PvP, but also not, like, he could be very, very good for PvE because he has accumulation, he has healing, he has a lot of the other effects that we're looking for, and he has the frenzy buffs. So it'll be very interesting to see. Oh yeah, by the way, for his tier 3 skill, he goes out into space, grabs a planet, and then straight up throws it at you. He basically transforms into Tony and Iron Man at the same time. And of course, it didn't load here, so I'm just gonna refresh the page quickly while I gather my hype to hope this. Okay, here we go. So he floats into space, and he's like, yo, one of these planets, let me just grab this thing. And then he just yeets it at you. Or maybe it's not a planet, maybe it's a moon orbiting a planet, but still, that's sick. The tier 3 skill itself doesn't have any fancy snazzy effects, but it honestly doesn't have to. If a tier 3 skill has a lot of damage and a cool animation, that's really all that matters. Now, moving on back to, moving on to the next character, back up here to this, we have Gamora's Requiem uniform does turn her into a supervillain. That's a first for her. It also gives her a much better passive with crit damage, guaranteed crit rate, and guaranteed dodge. And then as another first, we have the new best speed leadership in the game. That's right. All speed types with the assassination technique leadership will get 55% increased physical attack and some attack speed. So that means Gamora is going to buff her own attack, crazy. She's also going to be able to buff Spider-Man's attack and Captain Falcon's attack and a bunch of other very good physical speed characters. Really, really nice stuff. Makari, for example, lots of really good stuff. Her new her skilled assassin passive is bad, so we're just gonna skip over that. But then her new tier 2 passive gives her, it's not a support buff, it's a buff for herself, but it gives her increased damage to both heroes and villains, which can be very interesting for both PvE and PvP. And then she retains that 45-35 skill damage bonus damage, which is very high. The skills themselves, seem to be PvE oriented, but we do have paralysis here. We have bind, 100% penetration. She has accumulation as well with a 7-second accumulation, which is nice. She also has more penetration here with immunity and a 35% buff. And then she's got a 15% heal and then another frenzy buff on Universe Ender. So nothing too spicy as far as like really, exotic buffs or anything like that, but potentially very, very strong with the number of buffs if you count them up, including the 55% attack. Then you've got the 40% attack here, and then the 35% attack there, plus the accumulation. Yeah, that's a lot of buffs. Plus, she's always carrying that support buff with her, as if she had Mystique or Taskmaster on the team. And then you can stack them on top of that. And then we come to Drax. Very, very interesting character now. More PvP focused if I had to guess, but here we go. With his uniform effect, he's going to decrease damage. So basically the opposite of Requiem. He's going to decrease the damage that he receives from both factions, heroes and villains, by 60%. So he's going to be a tanky boy. And then he retains his leadership, but they've upgraded the numbers. So if you bring 3 combat types into the fight, including Drax's leadership, each one of them is going to get 65% HP. So imagine a PvP team with Drax and Gilgamesh and Wolverine, and they all have 65% increased HP. Good luck winning. You're going to see HPs over 500k. It's going to be bananas. Then he has this really cool passive. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, but it's very cool. When he attacks enemies, he's going to stack these 3 debuffs on them that can stack up to, 3, 4, or 5 times. And these debuffs are going to decrease the attack, resist, and defense of the enemies. This could be very, very good for PvP. It may not have, it may only have limited use in PvE, but this is really cool. We've never seen something like this before, so I'm glad to see, almost 7 years into this game's lifespan, the devs and the sort of the creative team are still experimenting and trying things out. He's got physical damage reflect reduction, so he's not going to get punished by Colossus and things like that. And then he's got Ignore Dodge, which is nice for PvE. And then he's got increased damage dealt to targets with Mockery Effect by 70%. So Mockery Effect is, I'm going to cover it really quickly because we've only talked about it once before. It's on Blue Marvel, and not a lot of people built Blue Marvel outside of the PvP heads because he's not a very good PvE toon despite having the Kamehameha tier 3. So basically what Mockery is, it's a taunt. And so his third skill, Galaxy Explosion, you can go check it out in game, has that Mockery Effect. And so basically, taunt, it forces the enemy to attack you. This is pretty obvious in Timeline Battle. They have no one else to attack, so they have to attack you. But this is very useful for other pieces of content where you have multiple enemies like Giant Boss Raid, Alliance Conquest, Alliance Tournament, things of that nature. So this is basically a taunt. And then when you taunt, it adds an additional amount of damage. So in Blue Marvel's case, his Mockery skill has this uniform effect where it increases the damage dealt to targets that are taunted by 30%. The interesting thing is this is applying to all allies, which means if you put Blue Marvel and Drax on a team together, because Drax's third skill called Warrior Taunt gives him 70% increased damage to villain, or sorry, it's on his uniform here, or on his tier 2 passive. It increases his damage dealt to mockery targets, or to taunted targets by 70%. So with Blue Marvel on the team, when Drax uses his taunt, he'll do 100% more damage to you. Yeah. Oh, and his taunt also gives him a 40% heal for 2 seconds and debuff removal for 4 seconds. He's going to be a taunting, healing tank wall. It's going to be sick. And then his fourth skill has immunity with some really nice frenzy buffs. And then his fifth skill has penetration, invincibility, and another frenzy buff. So he actually has a lot of effects. Basically, the only effect that he's missing is accumulation. That's the only effect he doesn't have. But I'm thinking with the number of buffs that he has, he could be a sleeper for PvE, and he should be very interesting, very, very interesting for PvP. So yeah, that's that. Really cool there. They both get their Transcended skill. Nothing too spicy there. He doesn't get accumulation on his Transcended skill, so, you know, that's that. And then we have the new Transcended skill where they call on the Milano to sort of shoot down these lasers while they attack from the ground with their swords and their daggers. That's nice. Only the two of them in the Transcended skill. We don't see Rocket or Groot or anyone else like that, for those of you hoping for another sneak peek or another sort of little piece of information. And then we come to sort of a bizarre turn here. Danger Room beta test is over. So it sounds like they're just removing the beta test tag from Danger Room. But then you read on and they use words like the final season of Danger Room. So it sounds like Danger Room is being removed. But again, all they're saying is that the beta test will be over and related content and challenges will be modified. So again, my overall impression from this is that they're removing Danger Room entirely. However, they don't come out and say that. I don't know if it's the translation. Maybe the Korean patch notes can be more, or they are more straightforward in this. But essentially, this is just a lot of text explaining that all of the existing rewards in Danger Room are being moved to other pieces of content, and all of the quests and challenges where you have to play Danger Room are being removed. So you're not going to have to play Danger Room for daily quests. You're not going to have to play Danger Room for epic quests or heroic quests or anything like that. As far as how you're going to be able to get the Danger Room characters, because that's what's on everyone's mind, that's everyone's first question, they are going to be the new 8th contribution reward from Dimension missions. So this is basically the best possible scenario for people who didn't like playing Danger Room to farm for Professor X and the other rare bios like, Weapon Hex, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, so on and so forth. Essentially, now we have in Dimension missions, and you should be playing this every day, we have 7 rewards. And the rewards are, gold, support tokens, yada, yada, yada. And you can see there that 7th reward is the Dimension chest. Mine is upgraded because I have the shield support, but just keep in mind, yours will say, if you don't have the shield support, it'll say Dimension chest 1 star to 6 star acquired. And then you can see the 8th reward is actually a repeating reward where you just get 10 support tickets. So they're actually going to add in this new level for free automagically. So you'll have 8 of those missions instead of 7. And so when you get past the Dimension chest, the obelisk box, the next one that you receive won't be the 10 support tokens. It'll be this new Danger Room box that can feature biometrics. So you can see here, the contribution test will be distributed according to agent's level, divided into sections from level 1 to 110. So the higher your agent level, the more bios you're going to be getting. And then if you have the shield support, it will also increase the number of bios you get in that chest. Really, really cool stuff. So you should always be playing Dimension Mission anyways. You're basically just gonna have to do a few more runs daily now in order to snag that 8th reward. Really, really good stuff. This change as far as the reward structure goes is fantastic. I'm a little bit sad that it seems like Danger Room is just being erased. But yeah, they said here, Danger Room is being removed from game guide, events points, alliance effects, content board, and others. Why would they remove a game mode from the content board if the game mode wasn't being removed? So again, it sounds like Danger Room is just disappearing forever. It's kind of bittersweet. I liked Danger Room. It was, very unique game mode. No other game had a game mode like that where it was sort of a mixture of PvE and PvP simultaneously. But I feel like the devs just forgot that Pierce and Penetration were going to make Danger Room trivial. And rather than rebalance the game mode to make it less trivial, they, I guess, decided to just, pack it in and call it a day. I don't mind having less content, but I wasn't really playing Danger Room nowadays anyways, and I was actually just skipping my dailies when I had Danger Room as a daily, because I usually just don't have enough time to play Danger Room and the loading and stuff like that. So, I don't really know how to feel. I really would want them to just improve game modes rather than getting rid of game modes at this point. But, it is what it is, for better or worse. We got the new World Boss Legend Infinity Ultron, which is awesome, really cool. I just can't get over how cool this looks. Really, really cool. We have these new artifacts, of course. Now we always have artifacts with new updates for Gamora, Drax, Adam Warlock, and Ultron. If I give you the summary, none of them are good. That's the summary. Gamora seems pretty basic. Drax's seems very basic. It's kind of cool. He gets more attack the more you hit him. So kind of like a Hulk, excuse me. That's pretty cool, I guess. Adam Warlock's is annoying because it's a passive heal. So it's very powerful. It's only 2.5%, so it's not like super busted, but it's just annoying. I never want to see healing in an artifact. I hate the fact that healing is part of artifacts. And then Ultron's artifact is really bad. It's iframe ignore and a small attack buff, but it's really bad. Any artifacts that have an activation rate when attacking that don't automatically activate are bad. And the fact that it's a 4-second buff with a 9-second cooldown is just god awful. So yeah, Ultron, his artifact is free, but it may be the new worst artifact in the game. So what you can then look at it from the positive spin is that you can crunch this down into more Celestial Essence. Nice, right? So yeah, maybe hang on to one or two of them in case you get a 5 or 6-star one, and in case they decide to rework this. We have the new Future Pass here. We have the new icons. So you're going to be able to get the Nova icon from the Future Pass Legendary, the Ghost Rider icon from the Mythic Future Pass. The ULTRON icon is free from World Boss Legend, and then the Adam Warlock icon is going to be in about 2 weeks when we have that token event, that extra secondary token event. And then they're making some changes, or not changes, they're making some additions to allow you to see CTP stats more easily. There's no second CTP slot. There's no, like, you know, combining CTPs to make other CTPs. Nothing spicy like that. Just allowing you to see the stats more easily, and then you can get some extra information about them. So just sort of just adding information here so that it's less of a mystery, considering how expensive a process it is. Then they're adding a save feature to Alliance Conquest. This is very cool for people who play Alliance Conquest. I hope that they make a lot more buffs and changes to Alliance Conquest, but this is a small start. You can save up to 10 preset teams for Alliance Conquest. That's nice, but honestly, given that you have to, like, given the amount of time and the amount of energy you spend on Conquest, they should really have the preset at least at 20 or 30. 10 is just not enough for the size of Conquest. And then they have some improvements here. Honestly, nothing is too interesting or noteworthy. The only thing here, down here, there was an issue where Hela, Mr. Sinister, and Wolverine, who have the Immortality artifact, the artifact was not triggering when you would fight against, when you, like, your Wolverine or your Hela would fight against a Cersei or against a Emma Frost, and they would charm you. It just wouldn't activate your artifact. And we, as players, thought that that was a feature, not a bug. Turns out it's a bug. So they're changing it, they're fixing it. So Wolverine and Hela should perform a lot better against Emma Frost and Cersei and other characters in PvP who charm. So yeah, those are the patch notes. Very hype, surprisingly hype, and lots of questions remain. So we'll have to wait and see for the update, which I kind of love. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Hope to see you all on twitch.tv/Cynicalex. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you tonight. Take care.